Hey everyone, this is Amazing Fantasy Football. I am Josh, and he is
Chris,
Chris. He is, as always. How you doing today, Chris?
I am doing wonderful.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. I'm trying to shake the fog off of a rough night last night, but
Little
other than
hangover
that,
city.
I'm better, but still not 100%. But I'm here. I think we're gonna have a great show today. I didn't really want to do this show at first when you first brought up this subject. But I really came around to it the more I thought about it. We kind of tweaked the idea just a little
hmm
bit and everything. And what we're talking today about is that didn't make a whole lot of sense, but we are talking of what we're calling trade secrets.
Trade secrets.
Secrets. Secrets. So we're going to talk about some trade scenarios, and this is going to be all dynasty related.
For
Maybe
sure.
one of our last dynasty shows we're going to go through this off season. But we're going to talk about some trades, some potential like trade scenarios, some guys we're looking at our trade targets, some guys that we want to actually just get them the heck out of here, you know, get them off your team.
Absolutely.
So
I
yeah,
love it. I'm excited.
um, no real news to talk about because it's May and it's all just
A little quiet.
it's all fluff anyways. You
It's
know
just
what
all
news there
ESPN
is.
talking about Aaron Rodgers is all it is every morning.
Yeah, and we talked about
I
that a little
assume.
bit, we talked a little bit about that before we started recording, and it's just
Yeah.
I feel like if something was going to happen, it would have happened already. I mean, we're in May now. They're not going to trade him in June,
hmm
right? Watch
hmm
him like breaking news: Aaron Rodgers is traded to the
Right.
Denver
Right.
Broncos. And I'll just completely eat my words, but that's fine. I'm willing to do so. I just
Of
don't think it's
course. Yeah.
happening this year. I think if the Packers end up winning the Super Bowl this year, he's going to retire. I think he's just going to be done. He's going to like
Th-
screw it.
I think that's a borderline bold take, but yeah, we'll
Why,
definitely
why not
touch
end
on
on a
it.
high note? Why
Yeah.
why go to a different team
Pull
and
a
be
John Elway.
yeah,
Peyton
dude, if
Manning
dude, if
also?
I want to, yeah, if
No,
I want a
Peyton.
Super Bowl,
Peyton.
I like, and I was like in the heading towards the end of my career, and I won a Super Bowl or a championship in any sport, I just
hmm
retire. I'd be like, man, that was a really great season. I don't know if I can top it. What else am I going to bring to the table? Another one? What's the likelihood of that?
I could
Why
see the
not?
approach, but these are the most competitive dudes in the world too. So
I know
a lot
it's
of them you have to
yeah,
drag away, and a lot of times it's the greats that you have to drag
yeah.
away. But hey, that's your take at this in May into May. So we'll see how that shakes out. See if you adjust. But yeah, we'll definitely touch on it today in terms of do you target a Packer? Do you target Rodgers? Do you not? Do you avoid it? So we'll touch on it later.
Yeah. Okay. What's your first trade scenario
My
that you
first
got
trade scenario
rolling here?
is my next year's champ trade scenario. Uh, I like quote. No, I'm just kidding. I've got Team A, DJ Moore, and a 2022 mid first. Almost all these will be 2022 picks because I feel like
Y-
most rookie drafts are in our rearview mirror here on May 23rd.
For sure.
So that's DJ Moore and a mid first, 2022, and Team B, Camara.
Did that again. So you got DJ Moore and you like a maybe a mid first
Mid
round
first.
pick
Yeah,
for Camara.
correct.
Interesting.
It's kind of that the reason I labeled it
I'm
next year's
gonna probably
champ. Go
ask for
ahead.
a
Go
better
ahead.
receiver than okay, so say I'm the guy with Camara and I want to get rid of him. I'm gonna ask for more than more. Not
Okay.
to say more too many times there. I feel like I want more than DJ Moore for Alvin Kamara. And I know you're including a first round pick as well, but
Mid first,
I want more. I want more.
mind you, on your side of the
I would
argument.
like a better player than DJ Moore. To be
Yeah.
clear, like
Yeah.
I don't know. Um, maybe
Do you want me to rattle off some names, rankings?
yeah, sure. What you got? Who's better than DJ Moore?
Who's better than DJ Moore in terms of dynasty wide receivers? We've
Mm-hmm.
got, where are you, DJ? Godwin.
Nope.
Similar in my opinion. I bet you'll take Allen Robinson in a heartbeat. Allen
Yes,
Robinson.
sir.
I
I
think we'll
love
both
Allen
take Terry
Robinson.
McLaurin in a heartbeat, but now we're climbing up there.
Okay, so and
Here's one that's
I think
below
Allen.
DJ Moore that's, well,
Okay.
I claim this isn't applicable because he just got drafted. Jamar Chase. I mean, I think we slammed the accept button on that, even if it's just recency bias. I hate to say it, but
No, I want Allen
Jamar
Robinson,
Chase.
and so here's where you get to deal
You're going to
delegate.
push him. You're
Allen
going to push him for
Robinson.
a Robinson in that neighborhood, is what you're saying.
I think that's my floor right there is Allen Robinson and your first round pick for Kamara, and I better be set at running back if I'm getting rid of Kamara because I'm getting rid of an RB1 for
Yeah, I think it's
less.
implied from my perspective that Team B, the Camara owner manager, we could argue about how set can you actually be. Let's take a IRL example. Josh in our dynasty league, Keith's team is very stacked. In fact, he's actually a Camara manager now that I think of it. He's very stacked. He's got like Henry, Camara.
Yeah, I
He's
don't know
got
how you guys let him be this
Yeah,
way,
I
but
don't either,
whatever.
dude. I don't either. I don't think any of them are mine, by the way, or were mine, should I say? So, point being, yes. The way my notes kind of go forward is that I kind of push that DJ Moore point first. I think we will know more by the end of the season. But seriously, whether or not Darnold
We're,
ends
we're,
up,
we're gonna have another episode where we say more and more.
I have so much fun with it in my notes. I'm not gonna harm a dead horse. Anyway, I think we'll know more about Darnold. I think while me and you feel good about Darnold, like I think we think talent is there, bad situation with the Jets, etc. It's not like we're risking much to go out on a limb at this point. But when it comes down to this DJ Moore trade, I think it depends on how either the receiving manager or the dealing manager feels about him.
Yeah,
Furthermore, to kind of take your side of it, and I think I agree with you. You got Terrace Marshall in town. Yes, Robbie Anderson should be gone after a year, but we both love Terrace Marshall, so that could hurt DJ Moore's value. But yeah, and then that's where I close out. Basically, I think Team A should probably shoot a little bit higher, and I think we
yep,
did a good job of narrowing that down.
yeah. All right, so here's my first one. And I know you don't like J.K. Dobbins that much, but I
But I
do.
like this.
So
I like this scenario. I like that you
okay,
brought this up. Yeah, go ahead.
so Team A, Team One is trading J.K. Dobbins. They're trading him away. Team Two is trying to get J.K. Dobbins, is offering Zach Moss and a 2022 second round pick. What do you think about that? Zach Moss and a second round in next year's dynasty draft for J.K. Dobbins.
I think it's a
Um,
good. Go ahead.
say you're the Dobbins manager. You don't like him very much. You're not very high on him, but I'm interested. I'm giving you an interesting trade in Zach Moss, who's I think could be sitting on a pretty good season next year. And a second rounder for your J.K. Dobbins, who I really love. What do you think? Too little? Too much?
As is
What do you
always the
think about
case, a
that?
lot of factors go into it. I think it's interesting you brought this one up first because it kind of does kind of put me to task on my Dobbins, what will be a ranking here in I don't know, few months, especially when you talk redraft, which we are not talking about today. It comes down, one factor is Lamar Jackson and how you feel about him. You know, moving forward, can they get out if you don't like the way the offense is ran and you're worried about like passing down work for Dobbins because Lamar runs a lot, then maybe you make a move there. I think it's too little for Dobbins when put to task. I think
Really?
I know I'm the one who's anti Dobbins. I think it's more of a 2021 take. I think when it came up a few weeks back, looking at your dynasty roster, we're in the midst of a you know, before or after the dynasty draft. I don't remember what it was, the rookie draft. It was like I was looking at your running backs, and I don't think he's as set as he thinks he is in terms of production this season. Now in dynasty, given that you will manage Dobbins indefinitely unless you deal him or whatnot, I think I'd want more than Moss. I don't. I think the
Interesting.
second is okay, but I think Dobbins is probably still an RB2, and
He's
Zach
getting
Moss worries
drafted.
me.
He is climbing up redraft ADP.
I know that's I think that's where my pushback is. Yes, the example I just gave you with your specific running back roster, but also this hype I'm seeing. I'm like, guys, he still has Gus Edwards and a running quarterback. I don't know, yes, he can catch the heck of the ball.
Okay.
Yes, he's a good running back. I like him, but his situation, man, I worry.
Right, but so he played in only 13. I'm sorry, he played in 15 games last year, but it was like real part-time workload. So with 134 rushes, he had a little over 800 yards and 9 touchdowns. That's with Mark Ingram there. That's with Gus Edwards. That is with Lamar
I
Jackson
don't
as
think Mark
well.
Ingram was there at the end, and that's where most of his production
But he was
was.
there in the beginning.
And that's where most of his production was not.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So
So Mark
now
Ingram is gone. Right, right, right.
you don't have Mark Ingram there, and and you really only have Gus Edwards to worry about as far as like cutting into the carries. Yeah, there will probably be some other,
I think folks should
like
be worrying about Gus Edwards more than they are. That's what I think. I think he'll steal touchdowns, and we know
right.
Lamar will
But
steal touchdowns from Dobbins.
so yeah, I mean, say you take his 134 rushes and you bump it up to 200, you're sitting on over 1,000 yards there and potentially over 10 touchdowns. Like,
I think that 10 touchdowns is
I'm
going to be
sorry,
really hard
that
to
sounds pretty.
obtain.
That sounds pretty good
I'm not so
for
worried about
me.
1,000 rushing yards or a good, you know, 1A in the rushing yards category. Like, I think he can do that and probably will. It's the, like we just discussed, the vaulting of his ADP, the discussion about an RB1 talk that I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Gus Edwards, Lamar Jackson, running quarterback, doesn't like to dump it off, etc. That's where I start to draw the line, I think. So, but in this scenario, I had to be honest. Zach Moss just wasn't quite enough for me. So I guess
Okay,
that's where the
that's
rubber
cool.
meets the road.
What's
That's a good one
what's
though.
my
It really is. I can't wait to see what Dobbins
what's
does.
Yeah, and I'm like, and as far as the trade target, like I'm trying to get if I can get Zach Moss pretty cheap. I mean, obviously this is all kind of like relative, like what? Okay, so let's to kind of skip over you and do another trade scenario. What do you think it takes to get Zach Moss? Because I think that he could have a pretty decent season this year.
I think.
And
Go ahead.
I mean,
I agree.
Dobbins, his ADP right now is the very end of the second round, ahead of Austin Eckler. That's
I don't
ridiculous.
feel strongly enough about Zach Moss's situation as in its current form to take that chance. I like Zach Moss. I think, as we discussed off air, I'm starting to go definitely Zach Moss over Singletary, but Singletary's
Oh
still
yeah.
there. So
I think Singletary is going to get
and
bumped down to like RB3 on that depth chart or on that depth chart there with Matt
or
Breida being
the approach that it's just a headache all year and you don't want to deal with it. Now, again, we're talking
that
dynasty,
could
so you may
easily be
not
the
have that
case too.
luxury. You may not have that luxury if you're already a Moss manager. But
Well, if you're a Moss manager, I would definitely try and go out and get Breida as like your handcuff because if Moss
mhm.
does go down, I think Breida is just going to be more effective than Singletary. He does everything Singletary does, but just faster and
Mhm.
you know
And we're talking about two really good AFC Baltimore's a run
run
first
teams.
team. Not so much Buffalo
But
anymore.
no,
I think they
Buffalo's
led
not a
the
run team. Sorry.
no, yeah, I think they led the league in passing attempts last year,
Yeah,
actually, or top three.
yeah,
So,
they did definitely in the top three.
I go Dobbins talent, but I don't like either situation all that great. I think they're just running backs that I'm not going to like having on my roster in that regard. That's what worries me the most.
I could not believe that.
But I still lean
I'm sorry.
Dobbins.
I'm looking at this
I still
redraft
lean Team A
ADP.
in this one.
I could not believe that Austin Eckler is below J.K. Dobbins. That is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Like he's ranked higher?
No.
Oh, he's ranked lower.
Well, J.K. Dobbins is ranked higher than
Yeah,
Austin
I
Eckler.
agree. That's ridiculous.
Dude, they have Austin Eckler going in
Oh,
like
I can't wait to get in the
the third
rankings.
round. I'm like, oh my god! If Austin Eckler was sitting there in round three, just sign me up every day of the week,
Yeah,
man.
I
Oh
love me some
my!
Eckler.
Cam Akers is 13 spots ahead of Austin Eckler.
Chargers are one of those offenses I want
Ridiculous.
pieces of. That's what it comes down to at the
Oh
end of the
yeah,
day. We're
love
we're
me
on the
some
same page
Chargers.
there. Yeah.
Anyways, so what do you think it takes to get Zach Moss? Just throw me an offer. Say you're the Zach Moss manager. I want him on my team. I'm
Probably
going to offer you. I'm going to offer you straight up second round pick. What?
yep, probably high
Let's
second.
start there.
Probably high second. Mid high.
That's what you're dealing
Mid
for.
I could see a manager start to get wishy washy with a
I
mid
have
second.
let's say I have the 203.
Yep.
Straight
Yep.
up 203 for Zach Moss.
Probably. Yeah. Especially if I'm trying
Cool.
to, it's
You got
all
yourself a deal, sir.
yeah. Well, we're not actually doing that, are we? No, we don't. Yeah, you don't manage him.
You,
That's
well,
right.
you have yourself
Sometimes
a
I forget who's on my
hypothetical
roster.
deal.
I'm like, did we just make a deal on?
That's
I said on
hypothetical,
air.
man.
Uh,
Hypothetical.
I know.
Come on now.
So yeah, I
All
think
right,
that's where.
what's what's your next scenario?
My next scenario is my tight ends versus RBs. My tight ends versus running backs trade scenario. More quotes, folks. More air quotes. That's right.
Okay.
Coming hard and heavy. Okay. This is where I start getting down a little more nitty gritty, a little more blockbuster ish. We've got Team A, the Zeke manager, is going to give up
Now,
2022.
wait a minute now. Okay. Wait, before we go any further, are you just taking players off of your dynasty roster and being like, I want to get rid of these guys because you started with DJ Moore and now you're going Zeke? Is this what you did?
The mental thought process was not that way for DJ Moore at all, but it was for Zeke a little bit. But I also think Zeke is a very polarizing piece, and that's kind of how the thought process went for me. I didn't have any luck dealing Zeke this offseason. And
I had this thought when you said DJ Moore. I'm like, he's trying to get rid of DJ Moore in Dynasty.
I think
and then you said Zeke.
One.
I'm like, he's trying to get rid of Zeke in Dynasty as well. Like, what is going on here?
It's
like,
not the last one, but it's in a different segment of the show. It's an entirely different segment of the show, and a different player, of course.
Anyway. I'm sorry. I just I had to call you out there.
That's good stuff. Team A, the Zeke manager, is giving up a 2022 late first. So a competing team, right? Late first, early second-ish. So talking like the 112, the 201, 111, maybe the 202, etc.
Okay. So you're literally trying to trade away Zeke right now.
No.
Or what?
No, it is actually not that scenario. I am a Zeke manager, but it's actually, I think, the opposite scenario. Let me finish.
Okay.
A late first / early second, Eckler and Gus Anderson to Team B, the Dobbins manager.
Who's Gus Anderson?
Isn't that Gus Bus in Baltimore?
Gus Edwards, maybe?
Oh, God, sorry. I have this thing with last names. Smiths and Bakers and stuff. I don't know. Apparently,
let's see who Gus Anderson is. According to LinkedIn, Gus Anderson, according to LinkedIn, is the director of business development.
Oh yes, he's very little value
at Leonardo DRS, whatever that is, in the Washington D.C. Baltimore area.
He's just a throw-in.
Cool.
Anyway, let me rewind.
30 plus years of telecommunications and IT professional, 29 years as U.S. Army signal officer. That sounds great. Achieved rank of colonel.
I wish I was editing this week. I would edit all this out.
I am so not going to. Gus Edwards or Gus Anderson.
No, Edwards.
And I want you to be on my real life business team. On my fantasy team, I want you to have nothing to do with you.
Help us steer the AFFB ship. There you go.
Yeah, man.
No, Team A, 2022 late first / early second, Eckler, Gus Edwards. Team B, Dobbins manager, gives up Kittle and Pollard. Let me recap because I have trouble listening and watching sometimes when I hear a show. We've got a late first / early second, Eckler, Gus Edwards, for Kittle and Pollard.
Oh boy, there's a lot of moving parts in that trade.
It is, isn't it? I told you this is where I start shaking things up.
I wish you would have simplified it a little bit. So,
I mean, it's just
you're trying to get Tony Pollard. I'm just clarifying. You're trying to get Tony Pollard and who?
The Zeke manager is going to get Pollard and Kittle. The Dobbins manager is going to get an early first. I'm sorry. The Dobbins manager is going to get a late first, Eckler and Edwards. But he's got to give up that tight end.
Assuming that I have a pretty decent tight end, a serviceable tight end behind Kittle.
Let's assume
I'm probably doing that.
Because Eckler. And a first.
Yeah.
That's fine too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think that's all right. I would probably think on it a little bit more, but just kind of a quick reaction.
Can we agree it's close though? Like
for sure.
Like that
in real life, I would definitely think about it more.
Yeah,
and just a snap decision right here because we were doing a show.
Right. I definitely as the manager, either manager, honestly, I would mull that over for a day or two.
I'd probably have to go to a lake at sunset and stare out across the water.
And if you've got a opposing manager that's not okay with that, just don't deal with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's not bad. Okay. Mm-hmm. So
real quick before we move on, this kind of ties into some conversation I've been wanting to touch on a little bit lately as it relates to value. Trades relate to value. Won't take long. Is Pitts being way overdrafted? I feel like we can find sleeper tight ends all over the place, such as a Kittle. Remember, I got him in as a throw-in for a Austin Safarian Jenkins trade like 4 or 5 years ago. Tanyan is a great example. Waller was a sleeper, came out of nowhere. Top 3 tight end. Like, can't you find these guys and not spend the capital to trade for Pitts or Kittle?
And I think you're overvaluing Tunyon a lot, but
I do like Tanyan.
That's fine, and that's okay. I'm not going to draft him this upcoming season. I'm just going to avoid him like the plague. I don't know, man. I think but why not take the shot on Pitts if he's really going to be that good? Why not?
I think with me and you this off season, it came down to the players after Pitts and how not strongly we felt.
Exactly. I think in this year's dynasty drafts, and like the NFL draft too, it was very like they said, oh, it's a really deep class at wide receiver. I'm like, not really.
Mainly running back though. We did not like those running backs after Etienne and maybe the Denver guy.
I liked Michael Carter because
or both Carolina guys. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just the running back. It was not a very good running back class. I don't think it was that great of a wide receiver class either. We'll see. Well, time will tell on that. And I'm willing to be wrong.
Blame you for
that. But I think it was very top heavy in wide receiver and running back. And it was kind of top heavy all the way around and for every position, really. Maybe not left tackle, but
real quick on this trade before we move on, as the Kittle manager, if that hypothetical was Andrews and Pollard, you're not doing that as the Eckler owner, are you? I'm sorry, Eckler manager. Late first. No. Yeah. No. Okay. We're on the same. Yeah.
Not at all.
That's about where it's at. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Next.
So my next one is we're doing Odell Beckham and a second-round pick for a first-round pick. So let's say that it's a middle second-round pick and Odell Beckham for a middle first-round pick. So you're trying. So once again, in this scenario. Or you're trying to keep your first round pick and and acquire a second first round pick. So you'll have 2 picks in the first round. I'm saying like maybe towards the top end of the first round, like 103 or something like that. Do you think that's enough to get the 103 ODB and your middle second round pick for a high first round pick?
Not my 103, no. But
okay.
I like the mid and going down a little bit further to the 104.
So someone better than Odell Beckham. Mike Evans and my mid-second for your 103.
I like that one better. I could see that one going through. I would not blame the 107. The holder of the 107 pick. I'm gonna hit decline because I don't feel great about Evans' situation after this year.
Okay. Let's go a little bit higher here. DJ Moore and my like say 206 for your 103. DJ Moore and my 206 for your 103.
And this is next year's draft.
Yep.
God, I feel like I'm being real stingy, but no.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
No.
Are you gonna do it or not?
Not
okay. That would probably be my
106. I probably do. 106. I probably do.
That would probably be my ceiling right there. Is that's as high as I'm going with DJ Moore in my second for your 103. If you're saying no, okay, I'm walking away from that trade then. Yeah, I'm out.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. Now, if you came back and you're like, and you're 10, you're 106. I'm like, no.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh,
I would hope.
Anyways,
but no, I like that one. That one ended up being much better than I thought it was going to be. We moved off Odell pretty quickly, but I like it.
I'm gonna do another one real quick. And maybe we'll try and move on after your next one. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get the 101 from you. You were the biggest loser last year. You ended up with the 101.
The big one.
I'm trying to get him from you. I want to keep my 1st round pick again because I want 2 first round picks.
That's a late first, I assume.
yeah, we'll say I'm last year's champion, and so I have the 101, or I have the 112. You have
Well,
the
right.
101. I'm trying to get the 101 from you because I really want a running back that's coming out. I'm getting, my running backs are getting old. I'm trying to bring some youth in. Blah blah blah. What would it take to pry the 101 away from you? Are you gonna do it for Tyreek Hill? Straight up, Tyreek Hill for your 101.
No, but that I think
Okay.
that's exactly where the conversation needs to start.
Okay. So what about Tyreek Hill and Raheem Mostert? Would you do that?
Now we're getting warm. I would push a little bit more. I would want more than Mostert. Bring that up a
Okay.
little bit.
Well, so now say you take a look at my roster and what running back are you trying to get away from me then? Think an older one, but a good one.
Yeah, not like up and coming. Okay. One
Yeah.
quick second. I've got some rankings for a list pulled up here to refresh my memory. I'm gonna work
Well,
my way
Chris looked
down
it up.
in this one just for change it up a little bit.
Okay.
I do it in a heartbeat for Antonio Gibson, Mixon.
And for Gibson, huh?
Yeah, I like
Mixon.
Gibson a lot. I know they drafted a guy. I know, but
I think I would be willing to give you my Joe Mixon and Tyreek Hill. I'm probably switching it up
it's getting
and
pretty
going a
rich.
lower. I'm going a lower wide receiver than if you want Mixon.
I would
I'm
if
probably
let me work lower. I'd probably go. I'd probably still. I'd do it for Jacobs. I think I'd do it for Jacobs. I like Jacobs
I
there.
would do that in a heartbeat. I
You'd
don't
give
like
up
Jacobs,
Jacobs
so
and the refresh my memory. The what were you else were you gonna say?
I don't want to comment on fluff pieces here, and maybe
Mm,
this is going to influence your Jacob thing. I don't want to comment on fluff pieces, but it sounds like they really want to use Kenyon Drake there
yeah,
for
hey, that's a
whatever
big worry.
reason.
That's a good point.
And Josh Jacobs has yet to stay healthy for an entire season. He, for whatever reason,
Yeah, that's every running
doesn't
back.
receive a lot of
Yeah,
passing work. I'm just I
I
don't
think
know.
he's a
I'm
better
not.
receiver than Drake. But you're right. We can't assume.
And I'm
We can't
right there
assume
with you, but
Gruden's going to make the
he
right
doesn't get the
call.
receptions to go
And
along with it. So I'm just
you got a really good point because we don't believe in that front office. We don't believe in Gruden making the right call. But I think we agree that Jacobs is probably the
you
better.
want Jacobs? Fine, I'm getting rid of him. I
Yeah,
want him off my team.
and
You
Hill.
know?
Remember that. I'm also getting Tyreek Hill in this deal.
No, no, no. You said Josh
Wait,
Jacobs.
did I hit accept? Did you like pull a what's the I
The
can't think of
bait
it.
and
A
switch. You're
magician
like, I just threw Josh Jacobs, and then you're like, ooh, Josh
sleight of
Jacobs, and
hand.
you're like,
That's the
and
term I
Tyreek
couldn't
Hill,
think of.
but you didn't
Yeah.
actually look at the trade all the way. You just said
Yeah,
Josh Jacobs. You're like,
exactly.
no.
There's a Josh Jacobs cornerback for the Broncos. I had no idea. Or a John Jacobs, whatever it may have been. Hilarious. No,
John
that's a
Jacobs.
yeah. I just wanted to close with that. Remember, I'm also getting the hypothetical team
Yes.
is
All
also
right.
getting
That's
Hill in
cool.
that deal.
That's
That's
cool. What's
I think I'd do that.
what's your next guy? What's your next scenario?
My next guy is the hold on, I gotta put down my coffee mug. Aaron is pouting trade scenario. We touched on it a little bit earlier in the show. I think it's important, given I'm the one who said ESPN is spamming Aaron Rodgers hot takes. I'm sure because I don't watch ESPN. No offense, but I think
Yeah.
it's important to discuss this because I think there are dynasty managers out there either on one side of the coin panicking, on the other side of the coin contemplating targeting low, if you will, or at least targeting. Team A, Devontae Adams. Team B,
I am a Devontae Adams manager, so let's see
right.
what you're gonna throw at me.
Again, not this one was not planned like that, but just I think it's really a good one that each fantasy analyst needs to consider. Team A, Devontae Adams. Team B, early first, 2022, of course, and Mixon.
Can can you talk to whoever manages Joe Mixon in our league and tell him to offer me that trade? Because I think I'm gonna do that.
I think I would too,
I'm
as the
probably
Adams manager.
I'm probably gonna ask for another
Pick?
I'm gonna ask for like a real low level receiver too to help replace but one that I like. So like
Let's go down the Mixon path first before we go down supplementing it with a, as you
so
say,
and so I like this
wide receiver
scenario
two or three.
because me personally on my dynasty team, I'm not in the greatest spot in when it comes to running backs.
RB situation, right?
I do like the talent of Joe Mixon. Um, And I'm willing, and I'm getting a high first round pick for next year for
Oh, the
Adams as
highest,
well.
top three, top three.
Yeah, man. I mean, whew, like if I'm maybe going to ask
Suddenly your panic
for,
meter on Adams is like, okay, maybe I am panicking a little. Is that a
no,
good way to
I'm
put
not
it?
panicking. No, I'm not panicking. I just like the trade.
Maybe that's a bad way to put it.
Um,
It's just it. I don't think I do that
I'm,
trade if I don't hear this news about Rodgers
I'm
in
going to ask
Dynasty.
for Darnell Mooney as well, if
Fine.
you have
I'm
him.
not. I'm not gonna piddle paddle. Piddle paddle. That's not even a thing, folks. I'm not gonna argue about that.
I love Mooney this
Where
year
I
right
think
now.
the rubber meets the road is I don't, as an Adams manager, I don't do this unless this situation's going on with Rodgers. Again, Dynasty folks, and he's a 27-year-old receiver.
Yeah, whatever. I
You
just
do this as the Adams manager if this Adams stuff is not going on whatsoever? Like it was all squash last year after the Love pick, and we're not talking about this in this offseason. Do you do
I
it?
I'm not worried about Aaron Rodgers right now. So I'm worried about
So
my
yeah, you
roster at
would.
the moment.
You would do it. You would move off of Adams regardless
Yes,
in
because
this
I'm trying
scenario.
to make my overall team better, and
I
I
know I
have
get.
other receivers
I
that
don't
I can
disagree with
throw
you.
out there, and
I'm
I
not
need
disagreeing
better.
with
I
this.
need to up my running back stable, and I
Mm-hmm.
need to, and I'm also increasing. I'm also getting another first round pick for next year as well. So, I mean, yeah,
I think
man,
it's just the
I love
epitome
this
of a
trade.
team specific situation, and I think you're right, and I think I'm right too. I think as a different Adams manager, I don't do this.
I think if my team, if my roster was in better shape than it is currently, I'm probably not going to do
Yep,
this
yep. I
trade.
think we're on the same page more than we thought. Yep.
But for me personally, I think it's a very good. Yeah, and I'm definitely going to ask for Darnell Mooney or something of that caliber too, like a low end wide receiver 3 or 4 that has a chance of being a wide receiver 2. Just to replace Adams, to whatever. I'm gonna always ask for more in a trade anyways, because that's how I am. I try and squeeze the juice out of every single trade that
Okay.
like.
Take Mixon out. Insert Miles Sanders.
Nope.
Alaire. Edwards Alaire.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
I think I kind of like CEH better
No,
this year than what he did last year.
Eckler. No,
But
still.
say what now?
Eckler. No, still.
I was smashing that trade button so quick.
Yes.
I
Okay.
won't even think about it. I'll be like, yes,
How
yes, yes, yes,
old?
yes, 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 yes.
Eckler's only 26. That's not bad. Okay.
I don't care about his age. I just like his situation. And
Running back in Dynasty, you need to. You will.
no, not no, because I know he's going to be around for at least a couple of years. So
Oh, his age specifically. Yeah, agreed. 26. I was pleasantly surprised. I was thinking more like a 27, 28 off the top of my head.
oh
Okay.
no, I figured he was still in his mid-20s. So
Which one we got
whatever.
next? I agree with you, man. I'm liking this show a
Do you
lot.
have one more? Because
I really am. Go ahead.
um do you have one more? Because I'm kind of used up on my trade scenarios a little bit.
Scenarios. That's the only one I got, but I could definitely pull one
Okay.
up real quick.
Nope,
That
let's move on to our players to target. And I'm
may,
gonna
do you
start
mind?
first.
Okay, go ahead.
But I'm gonna start first because I'm gonna
You're
go
fine.
first. And beauty before age in this respect. I'm not sure if that's. I don't know about that, but anyways, I'm gonna. My first player to target is Amon-Ra St. Brown, a wide receiver for
Oh,
that
that's
just got
right.
drafted by the Lions. Um, I know we've talked about it on previous shows, but I think that he ends up with a really good situation. I know I've said this before. Jared Goff doesn't have a problem throwing to slot receivers at all, like he did with Cooper Cup, and to a lesser extent, Robert Woods. Um, I think he could be a day one contributor. Like, for especially for Dynasty, I wanted this guy on my team. I tried trading up to get Amon-Ra St. Brown
Right.
to the guy who then I was trying to get the pick away from, who then picked Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I was like, dude, that was a really good pick. That's what I was trying to trade you for. And he's like, yeah, I really like him. Um, what do you think about
Swing and
players to
miss.
target here?
Um,
What do you think about St. Brown here?
the
I know we had this via text. We talked about this via text,
right, of
but
course. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want you to say it out loud.
I like the player. I like the situation. I like the angle you're taking. I just think, from experience, dynasty manager, it's really hard to pry that fresh first. Well, I'm sorry, not first, maybe early second, whatever.
Nope, third round,
That
I believe
fresh
it was.
draft pick out of their hands. It's you're gonna have to
Pretty
punish them. They're
sure it
cold
looked like he
dead
was a third.
in the rookie draft. Okay,
Yeah,
that
keep
might be
talking.
getting a
Keep
little
talking. I'll
more
look it up.
manageable, but generally speaking, dynasty managers are not quick to give up their fresh draft picks that they just drafted in May. So I think you'd be overpaying. It's not to say I don't like the situation and the player. That's where I'm at. So I would try not to target a player just freshly drafted onto a dynasty roster.
Okay. I mean, that's why I wanted you to talk about it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
give me a little education. Teach
For
me. Oh,
sure, for
sorry.
sure.
He went 208. You were right. Second
I've always been
round.
tempted as especially an active manager. I always wanting to trade, and I'm so deep into the players and the personnel. I come fresh off the draft, and I'm like, let's make some moves, and I'm like, this doesn't make any
and
sense.
and that's one thing I wanted to bring up too that I kind of
Mm-hmm.
forgot about until you just kind of sort of mentioned it, is that, like, um the one thing that I don't like to do, and I'd like to do this with redrafts too, and I'm kind of not I'm taking the same approach in Dynasty as well, is that once the draft's over, like, I know you're the tinkerer, you love to tinker with
Sure,
your team
sure.
constantly and whatever, probably to some extent your detriment at times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a, I just drafted these guys and I just let me absorb my team into my brain, and I'm fine with it right now. I mean,
Let them
Dynasty is
marinate for a
different than
while.
redraft. Yeah, Dynasty is different than redraft, but I'm not probably making a move unless I am absolutely in
Unless
love
you,
with the
or
deal.
you could put it this way, unless
Like,
you're
it's got to be
approached. Yeah.
definitely in my favor, or
And,
at least I have to think about it being
and
in my
most
favor.
likely you're going to have to be approached. You would not be
Yes,
the one. Yeah.
I'm not going. I threw out a couple trade offers to some people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I didn't think they were going to bite or anything. So whatever.
Right. I would
Um,
answer it this way. Like, think about it in terms of not these fresh draft picks, as we just briefly discussed. So I'm thinking of other picks and current players, etc. I don't disagree with your approach in that we just mentioned over tinkering is a thing.
yep.
However, in Dynasty, it is different because what you're trying to do, if you are putting together a deal, targeting some of these folks we'll talk about today, you are trying to jump the gun on I'm sorry, mini camp rumors, and so whether rookies, mini,
Right.
and then of course training camp,
And
if I recall.
my next few guys are actually my next four as
Mm-hmm.
far as players to target are, let's try and get them cheap now before they go
Mm-hmm.
off this next season.
Mm-hmm. So
So there's that. Who's the player that you want to target or that you're trying to
real